Shall we? Hey everybody. Let me turn this down. How y'all doing today? So I started looking through some of the stuff that's being reported on in Hawaii. And as you know, I'm leaving for Hawaii on Thursday night. I'll be doing shows Monday through Thursday this week. We're leaving Thursday night. And, last Friday I said I'm trying to get away from the news because it's bumming me out. And this is so hard to just read about and listen to people talk about it. It's devastation to people in an area of Hawaii that have been there. Oh, did I not turn this up? Oh, I forgot to turn the gain up there. Is that better? I hope that's better. I'll turn the music down. Let's just turn the music off. It's just people who've lived in this area, at least, their ancestors have lived in this area. This is an area that really wasn't necessarily a tourist area. It's an area that a lot of Native Hawaiians lived in that have been in the land, they've been there for, millennia. As far as I know, I don't know how long people have inhabited the Hawaiian Islands, but it's a place where a lot of people just, you'll hear a lot of I don't even know if I want to call them conspiracy theories. You'll hear a lot of the theories. I don't want to call them conspiracy theories, but you'll hear a lot of theories. A lot of people wanted to buy this land. They wanted to develop this land. They wanted to make these smart cities, whatever. But just the devastation is unfathomable. And again, it's because these winds that were coming from a hurricane far away. And it's already one of the, Hawaii has a lot of different climates, and this is an area that was not as tropical. It was more of a dry climate on this part of the island. And so, people want to talk global warming and all this other shit. I don't know. I don't care. It's the people that you go, God, this is devastating. And there's so many people are missing. So many people they found. I mean, they have a death toll so far that, is probably not even a fraction of what really happened. And it's going to be, they're having a hard time identifying people. It's rough. And I don't want to risk the idea that I'm exploiting this to talk about it, but it's the one topic today. I got a couple of other news stories open, and we'll try to lighten it up before I get into this. And there's a whole lot of things, there's a lot of things being made political about it, and Biden to this and Oprah Winfrey that and whatever. And we'll get into those issues, but I just don't want to lose sight of the fact that a lot of people lost their lives, a lot of people losing loved ones, a lot of people still missing, a lot of people losing just their entire existence, their homes, it's in some ways it's hard to talk about, but that's kind of what I do for a avocation. So is that right? Avocation, when you don't really make money from what you do. It's my kind of a labor of love that I do this and have fun on the show. But today it's going to be a little bit tough for me because, and I'm not going anywhere near that area when we go to Hawaii. We're flying into Oahu and flying over the Big Island, spending 7 days on the Big Island, and then coming back to Oahu to tour Pearl Harbor before we leave. That's, we're not going to Maui. There's even issues with people who have trips planned to Maui in advance and weddings and whatever, and this and they're complaining that they can't do what they want to do, not realizing I don't think they understand what's happened here. So that's what the show's going to be about today. Stay with me. Johnny, play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
And we are here. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel on this Monday, the 14th of August, 2023. Flight time minus whatever 4 days is in hours. I hope you are having a good morning. I am. I'm officially on vacation today. It started today. I'm officially 2 weeks on vacation. And as you know, I'm going to the region, at least, of the world where this terrible thing happened, right? And it's hard to read about. I don't know, and I don't, if there's some reason this affects our flights or whatever, we're going to suck it up and deal with it, because I don't want to be even thought of as complaining if something goes wrong with our plans because this. So be it. It's I as you may tell, I've kind of it's hard to read about, watch, listen to people talk about it, and it's stirred up an emotion in me. And I just, I wore this shirt specifically for people who may be in that area. I don't know anyone who watches my show from Hawaii, and I don't, whatever. But if for whatever reason someone comes across this because of the name of the show, or because of, just any reason they happen to come across this, I mean, it's 3 a.m. in Hawaii. So, but I just want people to know that, hey, if you're in Hawaii, your life matters. And hopefully the effort to help the people there is successful. Our government does stuff, but I think the best people who do anything, the best people to help people are other people. And I know there's a lot of effort going on to help people in this awful time for them. So, and, I named the show, Pray for Maui. Whether you believe in any higher being or not, prayer can just be meditation, and showing concern, and, thinking about your fellow man, and hopefully doing what you can do to help others. So, and if you believe in higher power, go ahead and pray your ass off, because they need it, man. So anyway, let's get into the show. Sorry, I'm a little bit melancholy. It's just is how it is today. First the chat over on Rumble. Mr. Avocados Diabli gets the bell. Thank you for joining us today. Also, good morning to Mike Savage, Blarg. Good hello, Phantom Dog Fart, Next Gen Troll, and the other 15, 20 people watching on Rumble. I have no idea how many are over there right now. It hasn't even shown up on my screen yet. Let me refresh. Maybe it'll tell me. Oh, nope, that's it. That's us. That's you four, and my window's open, so that's it. So anyway, welcome to the show. On YouTube, first in the chat, Avocados Diabli gets the bell. Also, good morning to Tyrannius, Alexandrius, the Invictus Lich. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Fox P2, what's up? Welcome back. Lord Stanhope, hello. Aaron Meredith, what's up? Trippy Liberty, what's up, my brother? Hello, Cool Frog, Simon Wolfwood, fake news expert, Attack Alpaca. Also, who else is here? Some people showing up later. Grillin' Pirate Pete, what's up, man? Haven't seen your fire burning lately. I'm glad to see you, brother. I was thinking about you. Okay, I'm gonna just do a little aside here. Pete, I made the most beautiful, luscious smoked salmon on Lady Boomer's birthday a couple weekends ago. Was it 2 weekends ago? Wait, no. Last weekend? It was this weekend. Last weekend. Yeah, last weekend. Did a beautiful smoked salmon on a Weber. I'd never even tried to smoke anything using Weber. Our friend had a Weber grill up at the cabin. And so I just threw all the coals to one side. Well, I put the coals on one side of the grill, did some steaks on that side of the grill, and then I just threw some cherry wood chips on top of the coals and put the salmon over here with a little garlic seasoning and a little pepper, and oh my God, that thing turned out good. I had never even thought of doing it that way. I'm used to, I turn my gas grill into a smoker sometimes I've built a little contraption I can put over one burner, and I put some wet towels over so that the smoke stays inside. But this thing with the Weber and the chips, oh my God, that smoked salmon turned out so freaking good. And I, got it just to that perfect, when you smoke fish, it's salmon or whatever kind of fish, you can't let it cook all the way on the grill. You got to like get it off. Okay, did I just say get it off? No! You have to get off the grill just before it's done, and it finishes kind of on its own, and then you get this nice, juicy, smoky salmon. Is just, oh, my mouth's watering just thinking about it. So anyway, Pete got me to thinking about that. Anyway, good to see you, Pete. Good morning, Furry Kitten. What's up? As I scroll down, is that everybody? I don't know. Maddie's in the house. And Jethro Hetero. And okay, cool. So, which is why charcoal is so much better than propane. Oh. Well, yeah, no, I mean, I throwing wood chips on some charcoal did wonders, man. So, it was, man, I was just like, I'm still just thinking about, I'm doing another one tonight but I'm going to, do my pseudo contraption grill that I do with the gas grill. But, yeah, I'm still digging that. I mean, I want to get just a regular, offset smoker, which is probably what I should do. But until then, I'm just digging that. All right. So let's get into some news. Let me get, I was being so goofy on Friday. Oh, wait, first things first. Thank you to some people real quick. Thank you, Somnambule Nation. Thank you, Sarah and Tyler F for retweeting the show. Please, you are the sponsors of the show. And I need sponsors. I need more people to come here because like I said, I'm going to be out of work for 2 months. Actually kind of starting today, although I get paid for my vacations. But so need people watch the show. If you want to sponsor the show, pdognight.live. That's the Streamlabs link. I just realized I had, I always laugh because I say, if you want more of what you donate to go to me, do it at pdognight.live or streamlabs.com/pdognight, because the difference between 30% and 7% is huge. Okay. So, and I realize it's about, on Rumble Rant's same thing. It's like 25%. Well, anyway, so, but if you are comfortable with you super chats or Rumble Rants, that's fine. I appreciate whatever you do. So, but anyway, but mainly to sponsor the show, just hit the like button. Okay. Hit the like button and share the stream like Sarah, Tyler F, and Somnambule Nation have done. That is huge for me. And, I greatly appreciate it when you do it. It is 23% to be exact. On Rumble, I thought it was 23%, but then let's see. No, it's like 28% on Rumble. Because especially if you happen to do it, well, that's because if you do it through, like if you do it like using the app. Oh, they don't have it on the app. I don't know how anyway, it was 28%. I figured it out because I had one Rumble Rant recently and I went and looked and it ended up being 28%. So whatever. Enough about that. Let's get into a couple things that I didn't get to last week because I was too busy having fun on Friday. And I think the general consensus on the Fridays thing, on Funky Friday, I think I am going to be funky on Friday and just do some fun stuff, videos, and react to things. And it'll be newsworthy, but not necessarily the most popular, most current news or current event. I had a lot of fun with that. And some of you did. Most of you did. I think there was 70% said yes. So we're going to try that for a few weeks. Obviously, there will be no show this Friday because I'll be, let's see, will I be sleeping in an airport at the time? Something like that. Maybe we'll live stream from there, but I'm not going to, I'm not making any formal shows while we're in Hawaii. But we will stream a few times, maybe do like a trail stop style stream. But the problem is it'll be, I don't know what time it's a 5-hour difference from where I am right now. So it'll be off a little bit. So it'll be more like in the afternoon while we're over there. So that's that. Thank you, Cool Frog, for a sponsor today. Appreciate you. Dropping a tray. in the tip jar with a fist bump and a dancing pear. That's kind of cool. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate that very much. All right, let's do a couple headlines, and then we're going to talk about Hawaii, because that's really what I want to talk about today. And there's a couple cool stories out of Hawaii too. So we'll get into as much of that as we can. But first, a couple stories that I missed over the weekend. So if you are familiar with the National Football League, which I'm sure you are, and this is not necessarily a sports story. Okay, this is a how woke can you go story in a way regarding the National Football League, and it's a conflict of wokedoms. Okay, so it's a plot twist, and I don't know if you saw this, and it affects several teams. A few teams in the NFL. It affects some baseball teams. It affects some college sports teams, and it's just an issue that's come up quite often. Well, here's the thing. In Washington, D.C., there's a Native American group that has threatened to boycott the Washington Commanders if they don't change their name back to the Redskins. There's a Native American group that wants Washington football team, now known as the Commanders, to change their name back to the Redskins. And I knew this because I grew up being a Redskin fan. There's a group of Native Americans that were just diehard Redskins fans. And there's a certain tribe that's kind of DC adjacent. You know, they live in that. They were from that area, and they went to Redskins game. They loved the Redskins. They didn't give a shit about them. They didn't want them to change the name. Well, in a plot twist no one saw coming, a group of Native Americans is threatening to boycott the Washington Commanders unless they change their name back to the Redskins. The Native American Guardians Association posted a meme to its X account, formerly known as Twitter, with the message to educate, not eradicate, and wants the team to go back to its original nickname. So there it is. The Native American Guardians Association tweeted, and President Eunice Davis sent a demand letter today to the Washington Commanders ownership and key leadership, formally requested the team revitalize its relationship with the American Indian community. And I'll put the tweet out here. And rightfully, what does it say? Rightfully change its name. Come on, computer, let's go. Here we go. Requested and revitalize its principal and rightfully change their name back to the Redskins. So here it is. This is the NAGA. NAGA what? Anyway, Native American Guardians Association, here's their letter. The Native American Guardians Association, NAGA, has developed a promise to all Americans as a statement in principle and policy. All Americans should not only be able to sign this pledge, but they should be eager to stand up for the dignity of every American that is under assault in today's increasingly nonsensical culture wars. This is a line in the sand pledge that reinforces undeniable history of the Native American assisting the foundation of the United States with Native American principles used by the founding fathers in the United States Constitution and every American's right to the First and 14th and every amendment to the Constitution and not be targets of the diversity, equity, inclusion, environmental social governance. They're digging on or chirping on DEI and ESG, cancel culture environment. This is not a partisan issue. It reaches across the political spectrum, dating back to our founding fathers. The Native American Guardian Association stands up for and is not only fighting back to preserve key elements of American history and the First and 14th Amendment. NAGA is fighting for the civil liberties of every American. Americans see they're losing their rights because of vicious cancel culture. It shows little care for the concerns or civil liberties. It is time to support leaders, brands, and organizations who will stand with every American rather than fighting against them. So anyway, down here it says, in 2015, our organization filed an amicus brief on behalf of the Redskins in support of their successful First Amendment case, which overruled a finding by the U.S. Patent Office that the name could not be registered as a trademark because it was derogatory. Our fact-based arguments have won in both state and federal courts. That NBC Sports even headline Redskins win trademark fight over name as Justice Department gives up by Sharian Williams, published in June 29, 2017. In fact, we strongly disputed that conclusion. And indeed, a subsequent poll by the Washington Post released in July 2016 indicated that 90% of American Indians agreed with us. So it was a small, loud faction that was fighting this Redskin name. You simply cannot erase history and target the negative American community by eradicating the name Redskins while being an organization that fosters other constitutional rights, including players who don't honor the American flag and kneel during our national anthem. Wow, these are some based nagas. These are some based nagas. Watch me get a strike for that. That would be really crazy, wouldn't it? At this moment in history, we're formally requesting that the team revitalize its relationship with the American Indian community by changing the name back to the Redskins, which recognizes American original inhabitants, and using the team's historic name and legacy to encourage Americans to learn about, not cancel, the history of American tribes and our role in the founding of this great nation. So, how about that? How about that? Yeah, it was funny because it was very few Native Americans who were trying to get rid of the name Redskins. So it's kind of wild that they're doing that. All right, moving on. I don't know if any of you are looking for a new career, and I don't know if this is actually could be considered a career because they do not pay for it. However, there's a new avocation, I suppose you'd call it, that a particular grocery store chain is trying to find people to do this very important job. Okay, it's a very important job, and it's from the Aldi grocery store chain. Okay, Aldi. You're familiar with Aldi? They're kind of like they're a grocery store chain, but they kind of try to, their whole gig is affordability. They try to, I don't know how they do it, but they have lower prices and they have some of their own store brands and whatnot. And they do things to help people live within certain budgets. Well, Aldi, the grocery store chain, a career where you don't get paid is a hobby. Well, this could be a good hobby though. Okay. Aldi is hiring professional beer tasters. Yes. Aldi is looking for a professional beer taster to drink and review their alcoholic beverages. The gig isn't paid, but it does come with nearly a dozen beers that reviewers can sample from home. If you're looking for affordable groceries, it's hard to beat prices at Aldi. Now customers have the opportunity to enjoy a selection of Aldi beers for a low, low price. Free. Yeah, where was that down there? Okay, Aldi is seeking a professional beer taster to drink and rate their products, and no experience is required to apply. Hey, I can do that. The multinational grocery chain's new beer connoisseur will be invited to do their work from the comfort of home. After hiring them for the job, Aldi will mail them close to a dozen beers to sample. A taster is then required to write an honest review for each beverage and rate them on a scale of 1 to 5. They will also be expected to post about the gig at least once on Twitter, aka X, didn't mean to dead name Twitter, or Instagram, through their personal social media handles. To apply, Hops enthusiasts can email this email address in the article with their full name, So if you need a new job, Bud Light being recanned as Aldi beer. They might have to. Anheuser-Busch is hurting, man. So if you need a new all right, let me look up this word because I think I might be using it wrong. Let's see. Avocation. 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 What does that mean? I think I'm using the word wrong. Avocation, activity taken up in addition to one's regular work or profession. Oh, usually for enjoyment, a hobby. So I am using it correctly. You can have a new avocation, drinking beer. Which is kind of already an avocation of mine. Okay, now, over the weekend, the young lady, or middle-aged, I don't know how old she is, who was on that plane and was yelling and telling people that motherfucker there, it ain't real. Remember her? the plane lady who got escorted off because she was mad because some guy wasn't real. Well, she has revealed herself. Well, she was actually kind of revealed by other people, but now she has come out front and center, and I don't mean like as in kind of a gay shit or anything, but she just has come out and with an apology, and her name is Tiffany Gomez, and she says, I apologize and take accountability for my actions. They were uncalled for. My very first moment was captured on video, yada, yada, yada. Here's Tiffany Gomez.
Hi, everyone. It's me.
Yes,
Tiffany
me.
Gomez,
Hello,
probably better known as the crazy plane lady, which is
she looks different,
warranted.
doesn't she?
As you know, I have been unwilling to speak on the viral video, but I do finally feel that it's time.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I want to take full accountability for my actions. They were completely unacceptable.
Okay.
Distressed or not, I should have been in control of my emotions, and that was not the case.
Okay. Oh, this is by the way, this is on Twitter. I'll have a link to this. She joined X, I should say X. Apparently, someone has. Look, here's what. So this is that crazy lady, right? She's sort of capitalizing on this. She has now she has a website, I guess. And I don't know why. I mean, she's an attractive lady. I mean, and I don't think this is a publicity stunt or anything, but she's starting. Someone said, hey, you've got this, notoriety. You might want to jump on that. So I think she's jumping on that.
Completely unnecessary. And I want to apologize to everyone on that plane, especially those that had children aboard. Can't imagine going through that and trying to explain to your kid what in the world just happened.
True.
We all have our bad moments, some far worse than others, and mine happened to be caught on camera for the whole world to see.
She has confirmed. Has she confirmed what she's yelling about? No, that's the other thing. She had. Hello, Attack-a-Paca. No,
I sound like Minnie Mouse.
Well, I don't know. Let's see what she says here.
Well, it has been really comical for everyone, and I have highly enjoyed so many of the memes.
Yeah, there are some good memes
side,
about her.
It is very invasive and...
What up, Pat? What up, Pat? How you doing?
Unkind. And I don't know what I would do without the love and support of my friends and family.
Hi, Jen T. Also.
They are loyal
what
to
up,
a
girl?
fault, and I don't know what I did to deserve them.
You act like a crazy lady on a plane. It went viral. That's what... Oh, wait. Did she talk about something else?
Sorry, y'all. I hope that I can use this experience and do a little bit of good in the world, and that's what I intend to do. I hope that you guys can accept my apology and I can begin to move on with my life.
All right, so there you go. And then now she's promoting her website, Journey promoting positive mental health and standing up against cyberbullying. Oh, well, that's probably a pretty good cause for her, I hope. So anyway, she has apologized. All right, let's move on. Wow, by the way, I know we're about to talk about Maui, but I don't know if you saw this thing that happened in Philadelphia. Apparently someone's Ring camera caught this on camera, the Ring doorbell, whatever, caught this on camera. Apparently a house blew up in Philadelphia. This is it right here. Now that's sad. I don't know. No one knows really why it happened. But that's what got caught on camera. They still don't know why the house exploded yesterday in Pennsylvania, not in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania somewhere. So people are wondering, probably it could be a gas leak. But I don't know how things work. I have my suspicions. Jack Cochran. Yeah, it has to be. There must have been a really bad gas leak or something. Now, here's the mysterious house explosion kills 5. 5 people died in that. Oh my gosh. At least 5 people were killed and a dozen homes damaged in an explosion. Yeah, I don't see any. I see a couple of YouTube videos on it, but I don't know what the report is. Here it is. Oh, this just watched the moment a Plum home died or blew up. Okay, that's the same video, but there's no story. A video from the Ring doorbell camera caught a neighbor living nearby shows the moment a home on Rustic Ridge Drive exploded. And then here's a story. That's what I was looking for. No, is there a story? There we go. A 5th person died following Saturday's house explosion. For the latest visit, our updated story here. Okay, this is the original story. I want the updated story. Let's put the updated story on here. So there's the devastation of this house. 5 people have died. 1 person remains in critical condition after a house exploded on Rustic Ridge Drive in Plum, Pennsylvania. In a news conference Sunday, Plum Chief of Police Lanny Conley said the Allegheny County medical examiner has determined 4 adults and 1 adolescent child died from the explosion. Officials did not yet release the names of ages of the victims. Family member tells Pittsburgh Action News 4 that 2 of the victims were father and son, Casey and Keegan Klotz. Steve Imberlina, Assistant Chief of Allegheny County Medical Service, said 2 people have been released from the hospital while 1 remains in the hospital in critical condition. 57 firefighters were treated on the scene for minor issues. 57 firefighters were treated on the scene, including heat-related injuries. Imberlina said officers said the effort to resume utility operations in the borough was underway, though electricity coverage for houses neighboring the explosion would remain without power. Mike Hewer said, President of People's Gas, said gas service shut off to the Rustic Ridge neighborhood. Gas crews checked for leakages following the explosion, determined gas system has been operating as designed. They don't have, let's see, it happened at 10:23 a.m. on Saturday. 3 homes are gone. 2 of them caught an ensuing blaze, with dozens or so others damaged in this neighborhood. Houses still standing, had windows blown out and doors blown open. Well, you can see this house that far away, I mean, felt the shockwave. That's wild. They built a meth lab under fireworks. I don't know. So they don't have, as I scroll down on the updates, they haven't gotten to what the cause was yet, though. So, but that reeks of either gas leak or meth lab. Okay, there we go. Those are the answers in the chat. All right, I think I've gotten to everything I wanted to do. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. So, and this is, I'm going to just tell the powers that be at YouTube, I'm just reading a story. I'm not advocating anything here, and I'll probably get in trouble for it anyway because they're assholes. But apparently, ivermectin is suddenly okay for COVID again. I don't know about that. Perhaps a doctor can prescribe gasoline enema for the Food and Drug Administration. A lawyer for the FDA recently declared doctors may now, years after it's needed, prescribe ivermectin for COVID-19 just in time. So here's the FDA. Oh, okay. Now that the nation is down to a mere 205 COVID deaths per week, and the pharmaceutical industrial complex has hoovered billions of dollars in cheddar, while the Americans have watched loved ones die on hospital ventilators via FaceTime, after tens of thousands of people have suffered adverse effects from the Fauci juice. And now the FDA claims it has always been cool for doctors to give their patients a cheap drug many folks knew helped people with the bat stew flu. Okay. Oh, really? Roll the tape. So, yeah, because this is the same FDA that put out this tweet: "You're not a horse, you're not a cow. Seriously, y'all, stop it." And with the FDA.gov, why you should not use ivermectin to treat or prevent COVID-19. Well, some of the bozos at the... Okay. Look at this whopper of a lie from the FDA's website. COVID-19. We've been living with it for what sometimes seems like forever. Given the number of deaths that have occurred from the disease, it's perhaps not surprising that some consumers are turning to drugs not approved or authorized by the Food and Drug Administration. Really? You mean some doctors were trying some things like doctors do? I guess the jackpotting is that the FDA forgot ivermectin was cleared for humans in 1987. So they have a bunch of lists of people who are telling you that ivermectin was horse paste, ivermectin doesn't work, ivermectin this, that, yada, yada, yada. But apparently now the FDA is saying, well, you can, if you want to use it, you can try it. It's been a safe medicine for years and years and years. FTG to the FDA, got to tell you. All right, let's talk about Maui now. And like I said, it's a subject that has me in a very solemn mood. Needless to say, some of the things trending, obviously, just Maui itself is trending. And one of the things trending though about Maui is this. Is one of the things is the quote, "no comment," and it has people riled up. So apparently the president was asked about Maui, and this is the viral response that people are talking about.
Will you come talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President?
Nothing there.
So anyway, and now let me allow me to play Advocatus Diablo here. let me be you, AD. It's very possible, I wouldn't say probable, but possible that the president, being in his 80s, didn't necessarily completely hear the question. She said no comment, but I'm not 100% sure. But also, here's the other thing. He's starting to figure out that he's not supposed to talk about anything without notes, and his handlers have written, his handlers have written. So when she says, Mr. President, any comment on the rising death toll in Maui? No comment. And then he smiles. Why do you smile? That's the other thing. That's another reason why possibly I think he might not have heard the question. Because, yes, asking about someone's feelings about a death toll is pointless. It is. And also the fact that he smiled makes me think he didn't actually hear the question. So a lot of people are, there's a whole trending topic, no comment. As Biden's leaving the beach from his vacation, he was asked about the situation in Hawaii. No comment was a response. So people are saying it's sickening and heartless or whatever. In some ways, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he couldn't hear exactly what was being asked, and the little smile, I don't know. And also just the fact that Biden doesn't always know what's going on anyway. So, his handlers need to have him briefed better. But what's happening as far as on Twitter is people are giving him a lot of grief. Because remember, okay, let me draw a parallel here. During Hurricane Katrina, do y'all remember how much shit George W. Bush got for the response to Katrina? And granted, the relief effort began immediately, just like it has in Maui. The relief effort began immediately with the Coast Guard. They saved, rescued 30,000, 40,000 people in the first 24 hours or, whatever, how many hours it was. It's not like the United States wasn't doing a response to this disaster. And the same thing in Hawaii. There's people out there. FEMA's out there. There's, now there's a lot of criticism about what's happening out there. But the fact that he's not getting this response, because the media was the one who was ripping into George W. Bush and Kanye, of course. George Bush hates black people. So I would expect that Joe Biden get the same smoke. He should be getting the same smoke that George W. Bush got, as far as I'm concerned. And why he isn't, hasn't been behind the mic yet. Maybe he has. I don't know. I don't see any. I haven't seen any. Let's see. I don't see him making a trip to Hawaii. I don't see him getting a trip to the podium even talking about it. I don't see any evidence that he has spoken about it other than he's approved whatever aid, we'll get into that in a minute, that he can. Now, of course, it's not as much as aid to Ukraine, but it's a bigger deal in Ukraine, I guess, to Joe Biden. He's invested in that one. Yes, the pun was intended. So anyway, this is Biden's schedule for Monday that someone posted here. Biden Monday, 10:30 a.m. The president will depart Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, to return to the White House. 1 p.m. Biden and Harris will have lunch together. Press Secretary Jean-Pierre Latrine, whatever, press briefing at 3 p.m. and the House and Senate are out right now. Okay, great. So we're going to scroll a little bit through harrowing tales of murder. Well, let me get into the articles, the news articles first. I'll come back to the trending topics because I want to make sure I get the news articles in. So we'll start with the AP first. Hawaii's governor warns that scores more people could be found dead following wildfires in Hawaii. There are people on the ground who are estimating there could be 1,000 or more. This fire swept through so fast because of these winds that people didn't have time to leave. The horn system, the siren systems failed. We'll get hopefully I'll get into that too. But let's just look at the AP article. Hawaii's governor warned that scores more people could be found dead following ferocious wildfires on Maui as a search and rescue team scoured neighborhoods street by street and prepared to comb through buildings charred by flames that galloped a mile a minute. So the flames were going through the town basically as fast as you could leave the town. The blazes, which consumed most of the historic town of Lahaina, are already the deadliest in U.S. more than a century, with a toll of 96. Now that is what they have so far. There's a couple thousand missing people though, so it's not. I would be concerned. There's 2 fires have not yet been completely contained, according to an update from Maui County late Sunday. We were prepared for many tragic stories. Governor Josh Green told CBS this morning in a recorded interview that was aired Monday, they will find 10 to 20 people per day probably until they finish. It's probably going to take 10 days. It's impossible to guess. Cell phone service has slowly been restored. Green said the number of people missing dropped to about 1,300 from over 2,000. So that's good news. Unless, well, it's not necessarily good news. It could drop because they found more dead people. I don't know. But in a way, that's good. 20 cadaver dogs and dozens of people are making their way through the blocks, reduced to ash. Right now, they're going street by street, block by block between cars, and soon they'll start to enter buildings. The director of public affairs for the Hawaii Department of Defense said Monday on NBC's Today. So part of the problem, too, it was on a Saturday. Well, no, it wasn't a Saturday morning. It started on the 8th. But this fire swept through so fast that people didn't have time to get in their cars and leave. And if he said they haven't even started going through buildings yet, they found 92 dead and they haven't started going through buildings, this is going to be gruesome. There's also an article, Lahaina residents worry a rebuild Maui town could slip into the hands of affluent outsiders. Now, this is part of the story because this is a town that basically had not all, like I wouldn't say all a native population, but it was a town that had a lot of longtime residents, families, land handed down, and a lot of people wanted to buy this land and make it into a more resort town than it was, and make it into something that the people who were living there were holding out. They were not going to sell the land to people. the outsiders, as this says, affluent outsiders. Rich Palale so closely identifies with his Maui hometown that he had a tattoo artist permanently ink Lahaina grown on his forearms when he was 16. But a chronic housing shortage and an influx of second home buyers and wealthy transplants have been displacing residents like Palale, who give Lahaina its spirit and identity. A fast-moving wildfire incinerated much of the compact coastal settlement last week and has multiple concerns that any homes rebuilt there will be targeted at affluent outsiders seeking a tropical haven. That would turbocharge what is already one of Hawaii's gravest and biggest challenges, the exodus and displacement of native Hawaiian and local-born residents who can no longer afford to live in their homeland. I'm more concerned with big land developers coming in and seeing this charred land as an opportunity to rebuild. Well, I don't think the governor has been helping in this matter. We'll get to what he said, because he said something that is resonating with people, but not in a good way. Palale, 25, was born and raised in Lahaina. I'll just say Lahaina. He started working at an oceanfront seafood restaurant in a town where he has worked when he was 16 and worked his way up to be a kitchen supervisor. He was trained to be a sous chef. Then came Tuesday's fire, which laid waste to its wooden homes and historic streets in just a few hours, killing at least 93 people to become the deadliest wildfire in the U.S. in over a century. Maui County estimates more than 80% of the more than 2,700 structures in the town were damaged or destroyed, and 4,500 residents are newly in need of shelter. The blaze torched Palale's restaurant, his neighborhood, his friends' homes, and possibly even the 4-bedroom house where he pays $1,000 a month monthly to rent one room. He and his housemates haven't had an opportunity to return to examine it themselves, though they've seen images showing their neighborhood in ruins. He said the town, which was once the capital of the former Hawaiian kingdom in the 1800s, made him the man he is today. Lahaina is my home. Lahaina is my pride, my life, my joy, he said in a text message, adding that the town has taught him lessons of love, struggle, discrimination, passion, division, and unity that you could not even fathom. The median price of a Maui home is $1.2 million, putting a single-family home out of reach for the typical wage earner. It's not possible for many to even buy a condo, with the median condo price at $850,000. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Sterling Higa, the executive director of Housing Hawaii's Future, a nonprofit organization that advocates for more housing in Hawaii, said the town is host to many houses that have been in the hands of local families for generations, but it's also been subject to gentrification. So a lot of more recent arrivals, typically from American mainland, who have more money and can buy homes at higher prices, were to some extent displacing local families in Lahaina. Higa said it's a phenomenon he has seen all along Maui's west coast, where a modest starter home 2 decades ago now sells for $1 million. Residents with insurance and government aid may get funds to rebuild, but those payouts could take years, and recipients may find it won't be enough to pay rent or buy an alternative property in the interim. Many on Kauai spent years fighting for insurance payments after Hurricane Iniki slammed into the island in 1992, and said the same could happen to Lahaina. As they deal with this, the frustration of fighting insurance companies or fighting the Federal Emergency Management Agency, many of them may as well leave because there are no other options. And cheaper than Vancouver. Well, yeah. Because the Californians moving to Vancouver, right? Now, there's also an article in Reuters from a few days ago. How did the Maui fire start? What do we know about the Lahaina blaze? There are some, let's just say, alternative theories to this. So I'll leave the article in here, but I'm not going to show you this. What's driving the fires, though, was the winds from the hurricane, which was, it's 100 miles south of Hawaii, but the winds, the 60, 70 mile an hour winds, were hitting the island. It wasn't the hurricane itself. It's because some last people are saying, oh, the fires were caused by a hurricane. Well, that's pretty stupid. It wasn't caused by a hurricane. So, and also Maui fires, Hawaii locals are revealing that looters are targeting Lahaina as the death toll rises. And Oprah Winfrey's camera crew was turned away. Where is that? Well done to whoever had the guts to say no to Oprah Winfrey as a TV crew is banned from Maui's fire shelter. So she's been buying land in Maui for some time now. I think she has some like 300 acres she's bought in Hawaii. With hundreds of missing persons still unaccounted for, Oprah Winfrey's outreach to Maui's wildfire survivors was met with mixed response after an accompanying camera crew was turned away. In her latest of a number of visits to sheltering survivors, the celebrity media mogul's Sunday trip to the War Memorial Complex in Wailuku, Hawaii, caused a stir when a seemingly overlooked policy was enforced. Days after appearing on film inside the facility when speaking with BBC, Winfrey's attempt to bring a CBS crew with her led the county of Maui to issue a statement on Facebook. To clarify, Oprah was able to visit our shelter, and we thank her for instructing media journalists and camera crews to remain outside. We welcome Oprah to continue to uplift our community's spirit and give her aloha to victims of the tragic disasters. Her visit inside the shelter today was truly heartwarming, and we appreciate her understanding of our policy of having no camera crews or reporters accompanying dignitaries and celebrities in our emergency shelter. So they turned her cameras away. Let's put it that way. Now she apparently lives part-time in Hawaii and is like, oh no, she's accumulated roughly 2,000 acres of land over 15 years, according to multiple reports, and had spoken with the BBC from within the shelter days earlier and expressed, it's a little overwhelming, but I'm really pleased to have so many people, supporting and people just bringing what they can and doing what they can. So anyway, let's see. Now, here's the Daily Krasenstein. And he has a bit of a point here, but I'm gonna read it because the point's kind of between his ears. To all of the ex-users who are pushing a conspiracy theory that Oprah Winfrey is somehow responsible for the Maui, Hawaii wildfires because her estate didn't burn down, just stop. First of all, I haven't heard a single person, not that there aren't any, but I don't hear that being the theme, that Oprah Winfrey started the fires. Nah, that's not. No one's saying that she started the fires. But there's wonders how none of her property has been affected by it, probably because she doesn't have property in Lahaina. Oprah has literally been on the ground helping people. She has been providing cots, pillows, toiletries, and more to shelters like this one in Wailuku, where she can be seen helping out. I get it. People don't like Oprah's politics, but to make up a conspiracy theory without a shred of evidence is both irresponsible and disgusting. You're better than this. Stay safe, Hawaii. Our thoughts and prayers and positive energy with you. And so you're not blaming Oprah for Maui, but what I am concerned about is these people who've lived there for generations. And this is just ripe pickings for developers now. And that's why people are concerned. And particularly since Oprah owns 2,000 acres in Maui, people might have questions about an ulterior motive. But at least she's there helping. She's lending some solace to some people, and good for her. I hope she doesn't do anything nefarious. And then there's a couple of Breitbart articles on this. But here's what I want to talk about too. Why did Maui's emergency siren, or why didn't the emergency sirens warn of the deadly fires? Now, it is possible that somehow wherever this started, it caused the systems to go down. A spokesman for Hawaii's emergency management agency says none of the 80 warning sirens placed around the island were activated at any time during the wildfire that caused massive damage and taken at least 93 lives. The historic city of Lahaina has been all but destroyed, as has much of the western part of the island. Hawaii Governor Josh Green says it isn't known whether infrastructure damage prevented the sirens from going off, but the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency spokesman Adam Weintraub confirmed on Saturday that the sirens alone would not have been a sign to evacuate, but for residents to seek more information. Okay, so you mean more information, like warnings to evacuate? Come on. He said other alert systems were activated, including emergency alerts that were sent to cell phones and to radio and TV stations, but there were power outages in Lahaina on Tuesday, and many residents said they never got any warnings. Mr. Weintraub said the agency would be cooperating with Hawaii Attorney General Ann Lopez in the investigation of the response of state and local officials. The emergency sirens are tested once a month, but they weren't sounded for some unknown reason to announce these fires. Robin Ritchie, a longtime Lahaina resident, said, "That makes me feel very angry because the lack of warning has definitely caused deaths." Ritchie says that 2 of her friends were saved from approaching fire only when smoke alarms in their homes went off. Roughly 2,170 acres burned in the catastrophic blaze that broke out Tuesday that ravaged Lahaina, according to initial assessments from the Pacific Disaster Center and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. More than 150 FEMA personnel have been deployed to Maui, the agency said Saturday, with assistance from over a dozen other federal agencies and departments. The National Guard activated 134 troops to help with firefighting. Now, there was a report from a company that monitors power grid activity that a large fault was detected on the power line 20 minutes before the wildfires started. It may have very well have been a coincidence, since residents were reporting power outages all throughout Tuesday. And let's see. Now, someone said here the wildfires were not entirely expected. In fact, the state's electric utility, Hawaii Electric, had for years worried about wildfire risk in the area, going so far as to launch drones. Considering that Maui had a top-of-the-line warning system, the state was ill-prepared for the disaster. So there's plenty of places. Here's a passenger plane captured the devastating wildfires that decimated the historic town of Lahaina. This was from a plane at night. You could see the fires burning. I'm going to be on a plane going from Oahu to the Big Island, so we're probably going to fly right over this. It's wild. So let's see. Other things about this from the Daily Wire. Only a fraction of the Maui wildfire victims identified as their remains fall apart. This is the only a fraction of the dozens of bodies recovered among deceased Maui wildfire victims have been identified, officials in Hawaii said this weekend. As a press time authority said, only 2 deceased victims have been identified. Out of the 92 they found, only 2 have been identified. The process has been complicated by a harrowing scene in which remains fall apart when they are picked up, Maui Police Chief John Pelletier explained during a press conference. Is this the press conference?
Cadaver dogs sift through the ruins of Lahaina as the death toll continues to rise, making the Maui wildfires in Hawaii the deadliest the U.S. has seen in more than a century.
This is just sad.
The scale of the damage became clear. This area of devastation used to be a hotel that had stood for over 120 years. Thousands of structures have been damaged or destroyed, and more than 2,000 acres of land burned, says the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
And we have to make sure that this is safe. As we see some of these structures that are still standing, our urban search and rescue teams are marking them to whether they're structurally safe or not.
FEMA estimated the cost to rebuild Lahaina at $5.5 billion. Many are still looking for relatives missing since the blaze. June LaQuesta has visited shelters and the Family Resource Center as he searches for 9 family members.
I would like to find the Quijano family, Coloma family, and Villegas families, which is 3 days now that everybody's looking for them.
Hawaii Governor Josh Green warned the death toll would continue to rise as more victims were discovered. Officials say dogs trained to detect bodies have only covered 3% of the search area so far.
God.
The state's emergency notification system and decision-making during the fire are set to be reviewed after some residents questioned whether more could have been done to warn them before the fire overtook their homes. Sirens stationed around the island, intended to warn of impending natural disasters, never sounded, and widespread power and cellular outages hampered other forms of alerts. Officials blamed communications network failures, winds of up to 80 miles per hour from an offshore hurricane, and a separate fire dozens of miles away, all of which made it nearly impossill to coordinate in real time with the emergency management
this
agency
is just
that typically issue warnings
unimaginable.
and evacuation.
That's basically a town the size of my town. If my entire town burned down, I would just be like, are you serious? Now this is interesting. Video shows historic church did survive the Maui fires unscathed. This is wild. Following the catastrophic devastation of the Maui wildfires, the historic church in downtown Lahaina has remarkably emerged unscathed. A recently serviced TikTok video displayed the Maria Lanakila Catholic Church standing completely intact in defiance. Intact and defiant. The church was defiant in the midst of the ruins, with its origins tracing back to 1846. The church's resilience now stands as a beacon of hope for heartbroken islanders, according to the Daily Mail. So this is here's the video of the church. Why is it, what's going on here? So there's, I don't need that. Okay, so anyway, that church is still standing. That's wild. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, it looks like the fire just kind of stopped there. And as you see the picture from above in the Daily Wire, well, where's the photo there? Oh, here, this photo right here. You can see basically the fire ended at this street, and except it's down there. So it's pretty wild that there's devastation all around this church, and it remains uninhibited, so to speak. All right, now we'll spend the rest of the time kind of going through the hashtags here, because there are some interesting reports. There's a whole lot of speculation and theories, and today's conspiracy theories are tomorrow's news. So we'll take a look through some of the hashtags here. Let me just put my face on here for a second. I always got to be careful when I scroll through X anymore, just because of the things that pop up that you don't want to pop up. And usually the things that pop up are made of someone's flesh. So I don't want to see that. So anyway, there's a bunch of different people talking about this. Some claiming that, now this is one of those that I go, let me get a whole entire salt lick for this one, but we'll listen to it. It's a theory that this is a land grab.
So a lot of people have been asking me to comment on the Hawaii fires, since we've had fires nonstop here in Alberta.
Okay, this is clearly a Canadian by the accent. Canadians, you're a fellow traveler. What up, Selecta Boy? Nice to see you. Yeah, and GDSOB and anyone else who showed up that I haven't seen.
Summer. The worst part is this has been the coldest, wettest summer ever. I think this is probably the third or fourth day that.
Okay, you know what? I'm not gonna watch her. I don't want to. As much as I'd like to, I'm not going to. She has a theory that part of this is the fires were set as part of a land grab. Now in Alberta and in some of the parts of Canada where the fires all just popped up at the same time, I'm kind of wondering how those fires happen. But I want to show people who are actually doing things to help people or whatever, or from Hawaii that are going to talk about it. So this guy right here is one of those people. I saw this one earlier. Just talking about what they need. And so, one of the problems too, so this FEMA, relief center they set up in this, I don't know what it is, an army or whatever. Apparently they're being really, really difficult for the people who need the relief. So there are people who are on their own are taking boats from other parts of the island and bringing supplies to help people, because the FEMA people aren't necessarily being very efficient at getting the stuff out there. And they're denying people some of the, relief stuff, water, whatever they need. So these are people who are just doing it on their own. And these are people who I consider heroes.
Anybody on social media, we need to get some of this stuff out to the people in Lahaina. If you can't post it, come out here and tell your friends.
To where, Matt?
To Kahana Boat Ramp. To Lumlung Estates.
To Kahana Boat
and
Ramp.
Ask anybody if you don't know. It's pretty easy to find. You have to go around because the bridge is out. So you have to go around the Peavey Market and come down this way.
They come from the north side.
And it's a one-way, so mind you, it's going to be a little congested.
They need gasoline for generators. They need gasoline for vehicles. But these people are doing relief effort on their own.
Man. The stuff you guys are bringing is unreal. Thanks. They're going to need it.
Okay,
yeah,
you guys want more propane?
He's bringing him. All right, so that's one of them. I mean, there's a lot of these videos like this. So here's this guy who lives in Maui, is very critical of the media.
I live on Maui. The media is lying and or covering up.
What up, Amazing
the
Disgrace?
extent of the damage and the death count. I personally know people that are telling me that death and destruction is way worse than we're being told. I am witnessing the cover-up by the media firsthand.
Now, my only concern is, are they covering it up?
I live on Maui.
Or is it because they've only gotten through less than 3% of the wreckage, and they haven't gone through buildings yet? So the people who are saying, yeah, they're probably going to, the death toll is going to rise exponentially from where it is now, certainly. But people are angry, and you know, especially when they see pictures of Joe Biden relaxing at the beach. But you know, it's not like Joe Biden's going to fly to Hawaii and start handing out bread and hot meals. Although, you know, some presidents would. But here's another video of just some of the devastation on it. You know, it's interesting. I'm not a fan of TikTok, but a lot of people are using TikTok to communicate what's going on there. You know, you wonder, all these cars in the streets, are these the people who are getting out of their cars and jumping into the ocean to avoid the fire? So all these stranded cars, where are the people that were in these cars? You know, that's just, it's just scary. It is just scary. Here, I'm gonna scroll a little bit. So let me put my face on here so I don't, again. Now this is, this guy too. This is another one that I wanted to show you. I've seen a bunch of these. These will be in the hashtags. I'm not going to single out every single video of this, but this is one that's interesting too, because just recently there was a big old conference in Hawaii about building smart cities. They were talking about making Maui a smart island. You know, the 15-minute cities. You familiar with that concept? Well, here's someone, I think this guy talks about that.
Take a real close listen what the governor of Hawaii had to say about the fires.
Of the destruction of Lahaina, it does appear like a bomb and fire went off. It does appear like a bomb and fire went off. All of the...
Okay, now, I don't know if they're making this, again, I warn about the conspiracy theories in some ways, is that he's not saying that a bomb and fire went off. But that's what it looks like. A bomb devastated this area, right? But people are questioning his words. You got to be very careful when you use words.
Those buildings virtually are going to have to be rebuilt. It will be a new Lahaina in its own image, its own values. But it's going to be billions of dollars. We are so coordinated with state, county, and federal support that it took less than a quarter of a day, 6 hours, to get the approval from the president to bring those resources in. This was,
now,
of
this
course,
brings up questions.
A hurricane and its winds. I think that we're seeing this for the first time in many different parts of the world. I've been contacted by
now he's going to blame it on
across the country to share their
what is he going to blame it on?
In a time where global warming is combined.
There it is.
So let's just go over a few of the red flags that he said. Very coordinated. Bomb and fire went off. All we will need to rebuild is billions of dollars in its own likeness and own image with its own values. What does that even mean? And it's so coordinated with state, county, and federal support that within less than 6 hours they got approval from the president to bring resources, hurricane-type winds that just happened to be the same time as the bomb-like fire. Governors calling to share their experience. So we start the press conference out with bombs and explosions, then set up how we're going to get some smart cities in Hawaii, and then we end it with 2030 propaganda of global warming. Right.
So that's fascinating. I mean, again, you're going to hear a lot of people talk different theories and whatnot. Oh, I didn't have that on the screen, did he? That's okay. Now, there are people This is, I mean, I'm going to give you the other side too. President Biden never responded with no comment. Here's a person who lives in Hawaii confirming that President Biden is helping Maui. Fox News and people on the right are deliberately lying. Joe Biden is providing Hawaii with federal assistance it needs. Yeah, they've got, I said that. I said they already approved the initial federal assistance. FEMA's there. They got, the disaster relief, kind of like they did in Katrina. There were people there as soon as they could get there. And all the logistics issues, the Coast Guard was the star in the first few days after Katrina, because that's the only way you could get there. You had to, there's one road, you got to take that one road in New Orleans. But anyway, each time I post about Maui helping Maui, I get someone complaining about the assistance to Ukraine, saying all the money is going there instead of Hawaii. It's a blatant attempt to divide people. Don't fall for it. The federal government is providing Hawaii with federal assets it needs, and this is, Occupy Democrats puts this up. I don't recall Occupy Democrats talking about how great the Coast Guard was doing in New Orleans after Katrina. Of course, they probably weren't around then. He's kind of a jerk. Anyway, the guy who runs that, what's his name? It's Carlos, not Carlos. Anyway. But again, Maui has 400 outdoor alarms. The largest warning system in the world. Not one was activated. It has an Amber Alert system. It was not activated. Now, that's disputed because some said that the so-called the Amber Alert system that goes through cell phones was activated. The old Hawaii capital, full of traditional houses and families, was allowed to burn. Now ask why. Well, some people were saying too that there was a fire that firefighters were putting out, but it was still smoldering when they left, and then these winds came in and exacerbated the problem. Let's see. Yeah, this is a family in Lahaina on Maui survived the wildfires by hiding in the ocean for 5 hours. These people were stuck out in the ocean as things burned, and they just happened to have their cameras on. This is just, can you imagine? Can't fucking imagine this, man. So anyway, as you scroll through these, this is another one. All of you good-hearted people could help find these missing people. Hopefully they were able to escape the fires and are safe. There was a steady flow of cars leaving as the fires were burning. In fact, here's a video of one trying to get through. Put yourself in this position. You can see the winds and why the fire spread so fast. But this is people trying to escape. Multiple cars going down the same roads, barely visible. The visibility is nearly zero. Power lines down. I mean, this is... It's just so frightening. Trees were down.
Don't touch it.
All right, so here, let's close that. Let's see. And here's another one. This is let's see what this one says. This is another person who's on the, let's just say tomorrow's news trek. Here we go.
Okay, I gotta tell you guys, I am so frustrated with investors and realtors calling the families who lost their home, offering to buy their land. How dare you do that to our community right now? If you are a victim, Kalamai, sorry, had a little bit poor reception right there. If you are a victim and they are calling you, please get their name. People keep calling me.
Tell
Sorry.
them to fuck off.
Get their business name so we can put them on blast. This is some pilau heva shit happening right now. I am so frustrated hearing since yesterday that multiple families that I know personally were reached out.
Yeah, the vultures, all right, Rick.
And offered money from investors and realtors. Shame on you. Shame on you. If you are a Maui realtor contributing to that,
fuck off.
Karma's gonna come and get you.
That's what I would say.
Okay?
Fuck off.
That is pilau. And if you are a realtor,
I don't know.
and
Does
they are
anyone know what
calling
pilau
you,
means?
investors are calling you to represent them, I hope you have dignity and aloha and compassion to turn them away.
What up, Cannon? Nice to see you, man. Haven't seen you in a while.
And I need you guys to do me a favor and get their name and their business name, and we're gonna put them on blast. That is some pilau. Please spread the word. If you're a victim and they are reaching out to you, DM me their name, business, try to get as much information out of these guys and send it to me.
I'm going to guess that pilau is some form of excrement. And you're right, AD. Of course, people are going to try and buy it now. Maybe some people would consider it to help them. So anyway, we'll do one more. I'll find one more video. I haven't seen that one yet. Oh, let's see what Oprah Winfrey says here. Let's see what... Okay. Oprah owns a home in Maui, says at some point I'll make a major donation after all the smoke and ashes have settled here and we figure out what the rebuilding is going to look like. The video comes after Oprah visited a shelter with a camera but was told no filming would be allowed inside. So here's Oprah's message.
Hey, everybody. You know what this week has taught me is that when you don't know what to do, you do whatever you can. I went to visit one of the big shelters here at the War Memorial and asked people what it is they needed, and then went shopping for some things, some, basic things like towels and sheets and shampoo.
Thank you, TexAG.
Other necessities. And at some point, I will make a major donation after all of the smoke and ashes have settled here and we figure out what the rebuilding is going to look like. This is going to be
it's an opportunity to make a smart city. You can't imagine Oprah being part of that.
Spending time at the shelters, I've met so many incredible people.
You get a Toyota, and you get a Toyota, and you get a Toyota.
Tell me what you need, because his legs were covered in bandages where he had to run to escape the fire, and said to me that he could feel his skin popping as he was running. He got out of his car because the tires were melting and he couldn't move forward and just started to run. And when I said, tell me what you need, he said, ma'am, I need nothing. My life is now my greatest gift. I have my life. I've seen so many families who are sharing a cot, an air mattress, and have nothing else left to their names, but they are so grateful just to have each other. And there is such an incredible spirit going on in this entire community, people helping other people. And I know that long after all the camera crews are gone and the rest of the world has moved on, the rebuilding will just begin. And Hawaiians are a strong cultural people and a family-loving people. And with the help and support, you're going to see a lot of Phoenix stories rising from the ashes here.
Yeah, there's going to be and the thing is, watch. The tech companies will swoop in, like the technology that build technology, and they're going to come in and say, hey, we're going to build you a new super modern city. We're going to do this. It's just, I have very mixed feelings about what they do and the people who live there. What are they going to do? So there's plenty of videos of while it was happening here. If you scroll through, I got 3 different hashtags open on this. A lot of people talking about Biden again, but again, Biden couldn't hear what he said. Even if he said no comment, they've been doing some things. Even Tariq Nasheed has a video on it. Rosenbar, what has happened in Hawaii is so sad and shocking. The Big Island was also on fire in places, still waiting for info. Please help people in Maui. Go through Red Cross. More to come. God rest souls of all the dead. A tragedy and worse. Someone here says, my source in Maui, storm chief said the death toll is close to 1,000. Said it is so bad they can't identify people and they're transporting bodies in buildings to shield them from view. One building alone, he guessed, has about 500 bodies. Said it looked like a Holocaust. Unconfirmed. Obviously, they're going to tell you what the toll is, but so anyway, if you want to know more about it, here. Oh, this is one other guy that I wanted to see, and then we'll finish with this guy, and his take on it. And then we're gonna move. Then we'll be done for the day. So let's do one more take, and then I'm gonna go. So here it is.
I'm already talking to brothers in Lahaina. I'm already talking to people from Maui and the mainland, Hawaii. This is what I'm starting to find out. And I don't give a shit what you guys say. The plan was to do something to Lahaina and turn it into a smart city. They were talking about smart streets, smart cars, smart cities. Well, what's a smart city? Or a 15-minute city. Look it up, 15-minute city. A 15-minute city is basically a big-ass high-rise where rather than having thousands of houses laid out across the area, it would be a high-rise. And basically, you would have everything you need. Your stores, your convenience, your gym, everything all in one building. A 15-minute city. That's what they want to do. Who's they? Well,
either that,
have to look into that and figure that out, because I'm not going to say it on
pause
this
this for a
platform.
second. Either that, or like the real estate people are already in there going, "Hey, you want to sell your land?" I understand that they're just trying to, some are trying to capitalize on it. And there's no way Lahaina's ever going to look the same because everything there is gone. So everything's going to be new. Everything's going to be something else. But they've been talking about this. They had this smart city plan for a long time. And this is one of the last holdouts where people who are just, families who lived there for generations have resisted selling it off to the newcomers who just, want it as their resort towns. These are just people who are local. And so it's very concerning. Let me finish this guy.
Because every time I fucking say it, I get shut down. But anyway, the locals are already starting to tell me about how they wanted them to be a smart city or a smart street or a smart this or smart that. And when they push back, all of a sudden, there's a fire.
Notice his hat, by the way.
Check this out. If you look up on this platform, I'm not even going to say the name of it, but you're already on it watching me.
They talk of the tickies
of directed energy weapons, and that's probably going to get this video deleted. But what that is a situation where, boom, a beam comes down from the sky, and boom, there's a fire.
Now there is a video, and I don't know if it's I want to say it's not genuine, but there's a video of a guy who was in the city and it almost looked like a laser beam came down and caused this little fire in this, looked like a bank or something. And you'll find it if you look for it long enough, because it pops up every once in a while. I don't know. It looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. That's what he's talking about. But the videos are on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and reels and stuff like that. You can find them. So you have to go look for it. It's there.
The same thing happened when the California fire started, and it's fucking unbelievable. And if you talk about it, you get taken down. So you probably have about 20 minutes to watch this video.
Well, it's on. Now it's on
channel,
Twitter.
Subscribe to it. Share this video, and let's talk about this. We need to help the people of Hawaii, and if they are being pressured into doing the smart city thing, the 15-minute city thing, we need to stand with them, because they're going to be coming to your doorstep next. All right? Hit me up. Out.
All right. So we don't. Again, these are all just theories and stuff, but there have been videos of this thing that looked like someone shot a laser from the sky, and all of a sudden you see this. It starts a fire, and it's like an explosion, like a sci-fi, like someone hit it with a photon torpedo or something like that. But yeah, oh, this is weird. Oh, here's an example of one of these videos. And this one doesn't look like the one I saw earlier. We'll finish with this. I was going to finish with the last one, but I'll finish with this one. Like, what the hell is that? It's repeating. Okay, that's one of the videos. Now, who knows if that's real or not? I'm not going to say it's real. I'm just going to say that's what the video is. It's a real video. I'll say that. But there's lots of people out there with making videos that news is lying. You know, here's another. Oh, I could do this all day. Let me. Yeah, these people are. People bringing necessities in by a boat because the agencies are cutting people off from the emergency aid. So this is Maui residents secure food and supplies to giant inflatable paddle boards and haul the items to shore using jet skis. Donated essentials will go to the victims of the devastating wildfires that raged through the historic Lahaina town this past week. So anyway, you can go through these hashtags. They'll all be in the links. I'll drop the link to the one tab link that will have everything listed that we went through today. I'll drop that in the chat during the outro. And that's it for today, guys. I don't mean to be a downer, but man, this shit is just devastating. It's unbelievable. And like I said, whether you believe in a higher power or not, pray for Maui. That's all I got. I got to go. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.